I think it's quite hard to put a finger on that kind of initial possible moment, you know. I mean, definitely thinking back to kind of high school, there's definitely times where it didn't feel great, you know, but I think I was maybe a bit too young to kind of think anything about it. But as I got older, moved away to uni, more independent, kind of on my own and stuff like that. I think I had a lot more time to kind of stew and things like that, so it kind of got a little bit worse. And it just kind of goes in phases, but I think that's maybe a reason I've struggled with it for like a number of years, is because I don't really know or can't kind of see a proper start point to it. So there's no actual kind of like one event type thing that I can look back on and kind of say like, okay, this is it. So this is how I solve this problem. This is how I feel better. It just kind of comes and goes, you know. Maybe something doesn't go quite the way you want it to, and then instead of kind of trying to put a full stop in that sentence and then moving on, it can kind of like linger in the back of your mind, and then maybe things like your money starts running out a little quicker than it used to, you start sleeping later than you would, and then all these things together kind of create a bit more of a monster that's quite hard to deal with on your own. And then it's that point that I'm usually kind of, okay, I'm definitely going through something now, as opposed to trying to recognise early on. I'm not quite as good at that, you know. There's been a few times in the past 5 years, I think maybe like 3 times where things kind of just felt like completely hopeless, but that was probably to do a lot with kind of university and things like that as well, and I was drinking too much and not looking after myself like physically, which really can take its toll mentally in the end as well. But yeah. Really, it was after I finished university. I'd graduated and I'd been kind of bouncing in between jobs for about a year, not really finding a kind of solid ground and not being able to kind of like find a base to build on or anything like that. And then I found a job that was full-time, really well paid, and it seemed to be like, okay, if I can do this, then that means I won't have to worry about X, Y, and Z. But then just still wasn't feeling great, and then it started affecting my ability to kind of go into work and do these things. And they were really great with it. They were really positive, very supportive. But I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to that kind of thing. So it was when like literally I couldn't sustain myself with any money because I couldn't work, because I was so down, that I just really had to say, you know what, you got to go speak to someone. You know, you got to do something a bit more hands-on, proactive. It's good to have a support network there that can like listen to you and help out, but sometimes you need like medical help with it.
Nah, I got this one lost like years ago.
Again, it's really hard to say. I think something that ironically annoys me about it is that I can sometimes spot these moments where it's going to be the kind of start of a snowball effect type thing, but oftentimes it's my recognition of that will then create a spiral, as opposed to conversely for a lot of people, when they kind of realise and pick up on it, that's the moment things start getting better. I feel like sometimes when I realise things aren't great, that's when things will start getting worse. You know, I'll only kind of notice once it's bad, you know. So yeah, I think I'm quite bad at picking up on my own cues with that kind of stuff.
That's an angle.
I think for a big picture, it's be naive to kind of ignore the two things, because they're definitely relevant to each other, definitely connected. I think from case to case, I don't think necessarily because a man has committed suicide, it has been through their own masculinity. It can be all sorts of things, but at the same time, with the way that masculinity goes generally, and the way that we kind of think about people being able to open up and talk and perhaps being more kind of effeminate if you want to cry or things like that, and then bottling up those emotions, that's definitely something that can really break down a person's mental health. So there definitely would be a link there, but I think it's perhaps not as black and white as just masculinity is going through a tumultuous period, and that is why so many men commit suicide. I think it could be something a little deeper than that, you know. I think I have in the past been better at being honest when someone asks how I'm doing, and when it's the right kind of people, you know, your close friends and family when they ask. But more often than not, I would still kind of just keep to myself about it. You know, if someone asks, I'll be like, no, I'm all right. I've been better, but I'm still doing well, even though that might not be the case. But definitely, I think it's the times where if I need to speak to someone, I can reach out. I think that's when I'm better at kind of opening up, is when it's kind of on my terms, and I reach out to someone and say, look, can we like go for a coffee or something this time? I'm not feeling great. I'll need to like have a chat. And I'm a little bit better in those situations at kind of opening up. But I think it's just kind of a bit of a shock factor. So if you are feeling down and someone asks you how you're feeling, like it's more of a kind of instant response rather than a considered answer saying like, you know, I'm not feeling well. You just kind of automatically like, yeah, I'm good. Like sometimes it feels like, oh, I've been found out. You know what I mean? Like people know I'm not good. Like, oh, I've got to cover it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Even things as simple as drinking enough water through the day, or eating correctly, or getting a good night's sleep and waking up at a good time, and then leaving the house. You know, just like little things that are just people's day to day that so often have been an impossibility for me. You know, like being proactive, being out and about, and kind of a bit of self-pride about things as well. That's always a good one for self-esteem, which can really bring me down. You know, if that's not working, but if I'm doing something I'm proud of, that definitely helps. But then it's those situations where if I'm doing something that I feel proud of, and then I perhaps make a mistake or have a setback slightly, that's where I can struggle to kind of bring myself back from that. You know. I kind of keep them up to date with it when I feel it's serious. You know, I wouldn't generally. They're not the first people I'd go to. You know, if I'm feeling down, I'm not instantly thinking I need to let my family know about this. I'm not too sure why. I think it's probably they just kind of overthink it and overpanic it, and then make the situation worse. In my opinion, anyway. When more often than not, if you want to tell someone you're not feeling great, you just kind of want them to say like, oh, that's fair enough, man. Like, if you need anything, like, you know where I am. Whereas if I was to tell my parents, they say like, oh, do you need to come home? Do you need to do it? And obviously they're just trying to be supportive. But at the end of the day, you don't want someone kind of thinking they need to like watch out for you because you're going to do something. You know what I mean? I think most of the people I know who have been through hard times, it's usually the friends that get you through it. Because I mean, you're born into your family. You can love them and they can love you as much as either you like whatever. They can be as supportive. But at the end of the day, your friends are the people who you meet through your life and decide, you know, I'm going to have you about for the rest of my life. You know, you're someone who I need to have about. You know, so there's more. I think it means more when it's friends because you choose them. So let's say the example most recently was when I started having to take time off work and things like that. So when it was affecting my day-to-day life. So if I was to speak to them on the phone and they'd possibly ask, okay, how's work going? I couldn't lie, you know, because I've been through that in the past when I was younger, like trying to cover up by like making lies, and it never really works. So it's those situations where I kind of go, you know what, I've not been doing very well recently. I'm taking some time off. I'm looking to go to the doctor about it and things like that. But before that stage, I wouldn't really kind of say anything. If they were saying, "Oh, how's things going?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just been going to work. You know, keep carrying on." It's only when it starts to actually affect things that I'd open up about that. I definitely think there's still a lot of learning to be done. There's a lot that I still feel kind of almost like unfinished business about things that I don't know about myself, like maybe personality traits and things like that. But I think at this point I probably am the most comfortable I have been in myself through my whole life, and that's been the same case for the past kind of 5 years. I think since leaving school, since moving to a new city, like doing a new thing, I met so many people and found so many new things that I'd never even considered being a part of my life, and these things have come into my life and have shaped me into who I am just now, and it's not the same person it was, but I think it's who I'd prefer to be, you know, and who I like to be.